What's going on, people? I am Swaver, and this is the Opinionated Facts Media Group podcast. I'm joined by my amazing team, Coco Love, joining to be great, and Illuminated Lenses. Tonight's conversation is going to be one that people may hate, people may love, but it may be the most unpopular episode that we're probably going to do, but it is needed. On this podcast, our mission is to build better relationships within our community through using the power of conversation. And tonight's conversation is going to be about not having sex until marriage. So to my team, do you guys think that you guys could wait? None of us are married currently, but how long do you think you guys could go without having sex?
Well, truth moment, I went 2 years and I honestly was in that mindset that I'm waiting for marriage and that's that. However, I relapsed. So I would like to say, I could do that again, I think. But see, it was easier at that moment because I wasn't like involved with anyone. So it was easy to do, but being with someone they would have to definitely be on the same path. But I don't have a definite answer. So I'm gonna go ahead and pass it on to someone else.
I would say I definitely would give it a good college try.
Okay.
And I'm not saying that I couldn't do it like you as well. Like I've gone I don't know if it was 2 years, but I've gone a very long time before without having sex, with not being involved with anyone. So I could do it if I'm not involved for sure. But like you said, if we were on the same page, I like I said, I would definitely give it a try. I wouldn't be opposed to it or anything. So yeah.
I just say from a male standpoint, it's a little different, but at the same time, it does boil down to self-control and discipline. But yeah, I had to say myself, prior to dropping my little one, sometime before that, I was on a mission. So I went quite a while without having sex because I wasn't even thinking about it. I was more so focused on my future and what I was trying to do. So probably a year and a half, something like that for myself. That was very difficult, by the way, for the listeners. But yeah, a year and a half. I'm on a mission right now, though. But yeah, year and a half. What about you, E?
Okay, E.
Yo,
like you're real quiet over there.
Me on the spot. I mean, yeah, guys are a little different, but at the same time, I've gone, a few months and everything like that without. To be real about it, though, it's good when you can do that because some people just can't. I personally, and I know this probably is going to be controversial, but I personally think that sex is a little overrated now just because I feel like people treat that as like a whole relationship and you build your whole relationship just around sex. And anytime you do that, it pretty much always fails because it's like, pardon my language, but it's like if y'all ain't fucking, then it's like y'all have nothing to talk about. It's like you don't even like the person for real, for real. You just sleeping with them just to sleep with them or whatever.
That's an interesting thing, man. You're right, though. I think it's a lot of people out here that if you do take the sex away from their relationships, then they probably wouldn't even have one. This kind of made me want to look something up. So the question I asked was, how common is it to wait until marriage for sex? This is according to NPR.org. Waiting until marriage is relatively rare in the United States. According to the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, close to 90% of people who've ever been married say they have had premarital sex. So I can see that for sure because, yeah, majority of the people that you meet, they have already experienced several different people, depending on how old you are by the time that they get to you. And then even when you start talking about getting to marriage, most people don't want to get married right away. So a lot of times, if it doesn't work out, you end up in another body and then it just goes on and on from there. So I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, very much so. Even on like a scientific chemical level or whatever, I was looking up some stuff myself. And during, when you're intimate with someone, chemicals are released in the brain, such as vasopressin in men and oxytocin in women. And so with the vasopressin, it's associated with physical and emotional mobilization that helps support vigilance and behaviors needed to guard your partner. And with women, when we release the oxytocin, it's related to like trust, empathy, positive memories, and bonding cues. So when you get together and you have all these chemicals going on, and you do this like premature, like before you actually get to know a person. And I know a lot of times for women, we get with a guy and he blow our back out or whatever. We start to ignore ignore some of the things that probably we really wouldn't you have dealt with him had we not gave it up so quick. So it's just a lot of times those chemicals and all those feelings, whatever, starts to cloud your judgment as far as, is this someone I can really be with? And like you mentioned, you take the sex away, that you realize it's nothing we have in common. And like you said, I really don't like this person outside of the bedroom.
Really hate you.
That thing that just came out in Houston not too long ago about that syphilis spike. They had all these cases of syphilis out there, man. I'm sure a lot of those people are not married. They're just out here getting it in. I also looked up from medicalnewstoday.com. It says a 2016 study showed that men have a lower chance of having prostate cancer if they ejaculate at least 21 times a month.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's okay. And they know this how? And why is 21? Like, why is that so specific?
I don't know what 21. Can you do something? But yeah, I saw that. That's interesting, man, from medicalnewstoday.com. And also, here's something that's really cool for women. It says females, when they are active on the regular, it strengthens their pelvic floor and it supports their bladder and it reduces incontinence. So that incontinence is basically when you have a problem with holding pee. So you pee even when you on yourself, even when you're not trying to pee. So it's like leakage. So
that's so interesting because I was in the okay, so like at where I used to work, right? You know, you go to the restroom, you know, and there's several stalls, right? And I'm in my 30s, so I've been peeing in public restrooms for a long time. And I was in the stall using the bathroom, and I was finishing up, and this lady came in. I don't know who it was, but like she seemed heavier set just by the way her ankles looked. But anyway, under the stall. But anyway, she seemed to be in a rush.
You got some mighty healthy ankles.
Yeah, she seemed to be in a rush to make it to the toilet, right? And so when she finally like sat down, she was like, and the noise of her urine hitting the water was loud. Like it sounded like what I would imagine Niagara Falls would sound like. I was like, what kind of piss were you holding in your bladder, ma'am? And so I remember telling my mom about it, you know, because I remember I went to my older coworker that worked with me at the time, and I was just like, what does it mean? I had never heard that. I was like, what does it mean when somebody pee loud? And both her and my mom, you know, I was just mentioning it in passing because I never heard that before, but they both said it was from having too much sex, too much like getting it in your young days, and now your bladder is weak and your pelvic floor is weak and you can't hold anything. I also heard that it was from having a lot of kids, one or the other. So it's just funny that you mentioned that. Now that it's scientifically proven that is not the case, and it's the opposite. I'm sorry, I had to share that.
Yeah, it's some very interesting things out here. A lot of misinformation, and, you know, people just making things up. But at the same time, they mean well when they're saying certain things. So I wanted to move on to the next thing, man. You know, this is more so for the men. You know, I have had this conversation with different men, and these men, I can't go without having sex. It's just something I just can't do. And so I said, let me go look this up. So I wanted to go look up how long can a man generally go without having sex. And so the Center.com, they said that generally 4 to 5 weeks is how long a man can go before he starts experiencing some mental, religious, and social effects. Now, we can go into a whole lot of that, but I will say that I do think initially you do experience maybe some withdrawals, especially if you are, you know, currently having a lot of sex and that you have to go through that period of time without having it. I do think that can cause you some issues, but I could just say from personal experience that after you get to a certain point where you get used to not having it, it gets kind of normal. Doesn't mean you don't want to, but it does get normal for you not to have it, and you start to develop a different type of discipline for yourself. So I'll say that.
Well, this conversation with 5, 6, 7 different ways.
But
we started off talking about abstinence, and then we just went into ejaculation and just went everywhere.
Much like ejaculation.
Oh shit.
Well, that's what we got for you guys. We just want to come and talk about this a little bit because we know this is big in our community. Again, we want to thank all of you for taking the time to listen to us. We really appreciate you guys. I'm joined by Coco Love, Dream to be Great, Illuminated Lenses. This is the Opinionated Facts Media Group podcast. I am Swaver. Until next time, peace.